Well, I guess all that rapping about getting high, living in the hood, and getting some booty really paid off, right, Houston? Of course, I'm talking about this hip-hop festival they had Friday night, this incident at the Astroworld Festival in Houston. Hip-hop! I'm sorry, folks, but hip-hop music is music for the dumbed-down masses. That's exactly what it is. And let's be honest, most of the people, not all, but most of the people who listen to hip-hop aren't the brightest bulbs in the pack. They're usually stoned, probably grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. I mean, isn't that where hip-hop music started, was in the ghetto? People never learned to say please or thank you. Now, I'm not talking about those who watch this series here, because obviously by watching the series, you've broadened your horizons. I'm talking about people who go to these concerts, these events. They go there to be part of the moment. They want to be cool to impress their friends. They've never had an original thought. So I have two articles to share with you, one from CNN.com, the other from Fox News. And this is a good reflection of where we are in the culture right now. When did we get to the point where we uplift somebody like Travis Scott and equate him to a composer like Beethoven? And Beethoven's not my favorite composer. And why couldn't we have a really cool piece of music by somebody like Beethoven, not his Fifth Symphony, because everybody knows his Fifth Symphony. He wrote more than the Fifth Symphony. But why couldn't we have a really cool piece of classical music or an awesome jazz riff on a pop music station? I talked about this a while back. Back in the 90s, the FCC deregulated the airwaves. And when they did that, you had companies like Clear Channel that came in and bought up all these radio stations, all these markets. And what Clear Channel would do is they would go to these school gymnasiums or auditoriums, set up speakers, and they would play samples for people. Bring these group of people in, or groups of people in, and ask them if they liked the music, if they hated it. But Clear Channel selected the music, rather than going out there and talking with the people to find out what they really like listening to. So is it any wonder why we are at this point where on Friday, this past Friday night, we had this incident happen at this Astroworld Festival? I'm not surprised, folks. I'm really not surprised. Welcome back to the channel. This is the Cultural Confederacy. It's Sunday night. You like the video, click that like button. Subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at hashtag Jason Composes. Leave comments below. Now you can reach me at Twitter, Cultural Confederacy at Twitter. And I'm really enjoying my new computer. It's a new experience for me to read from this computer monitor as I'm doing the video. But I'm really digging this CX1500, my Acer CX1500. Feels like an Apple, has the same display quality, sound quality, but it's a fraction of the cost. So the title of the article here from CNN, authorities are investigating the causes behind a deadly crowd surge at the Astroworld Music Festival in Houston. This is by Aya Amarusal and Rosa Flores. Hey, CNN, I know you believe in diversity, but could you please hire people whose names we actually can pronounce? So it says here, after a crowd surge at a Houston concert that left 8 people dead and dozens injured, officials said they will investigate key causes and what could have been done to get attendees out of harm's way. The Houston Police Department tweeted on Sunday that the investigation into the tragedy is active and, quote, is in its early stages. Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner told CNN his office is working to determine what happened at the Astroland Festival. They call it the Astroland Festival, but it's actually Astroworld. How it happened and to make sure it does not happen again. Quote, we are praying for their family members. There are still 2 individuals who are in critical condition in our hospitals, so we are praying for all of them, Turner said. Turner said the identity of the 8th victim in Friday's tragedy, who was previously unidentified, has been confirmed by the victim's family. The Friday night crowd at the sold-out Astroworld Festival, headlined and organized by rapper Travis Scott, who I've never heard of, was so tightly packed that when audience members were pushed toward the stage, some told CNN that they were crushed to the point where they couldn't breathe and pass out. Or they passed out. One security officer was struck in the neck during the concert while trying to restrain an audience member. Quote, he was examined. He went unconscious. They administered Narcan. Houston Police Chief Troy Fenner said Saturday of the security officer. Quote, he was revived and the medical staff did notice a prick similar to what you would get if somebody was trying to inject. that is one part of it. There were several other incidents Friday where the drug was administered, Houston Fire Chief Sam Pineda said. His last name is P-E-N-A. I believe you pronounce it Piana. It's got the little squiggly line over the end. Narcan is a drug used to treat narcotic overdoses, and other attempts to save lives include some people administering CPR. Former Marine Lucas Narcarati said he performed CPR on 2 people who passed out. Quote, "That was a different world. I immediately thought, this is not okay. Someone is going to die here," he told CNN. "I've never seen a mass amount of bodies dropping that fast before." And people described the scene as a floor of bodies. So that's how compact things were Friday night at this Astroworld Festival. The victims who died include a 14-year-old, that's highlighted here, with 50,000 people in attendance at NRG Park, the stadium complex where the Astrodome and the NRG Stadium stand. The crowd surge started after 9 p.m. on Friday. Quote, "The crowd, for whatever reason, began to push and surge towards the front of the stage, which caused the people in front to be compressed. They were unable to escape the situation," Pineda said. The chaos sent at least 25 people to the hospital, and 13 of them remained there Saturday afternoon, Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner said. 5 of them are under the age of 18. So let's hop on over to foxnews.com, because they tell the other side of this, the drug usage that took place. And this was funny. When they were interviewing a couple of these people on TV, they didn't want to talk about the drug usage that was happening at this Astroworld Festival. I'm thinking this Astroworld Festival makes Woodstock look like child's play. And can you imagine the smell with 50,000 people cramped in that location? Not trying to knock on people's hygiene, but I don't think it smelled the best. Just going to take a moment to get to the article here. Title of the article, Astroworld Festival, police confirm victims may have been injected with drugs, launch criminal probe. And this is an article by Nate Day. Houston authorities say a security guard and possibly others were jabbed with syringes during Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival, which saw at least 8 people killed and numerous others injured while the rapper was on stage Friday night. At a news conference Saturday afternoon, Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner confirmed that while the age of one fatality remained unknown, other victims were 14, 16, 21, 21, 23, 23, and 27. The causes of the deaths were not immediately known. Turner confirmed that 25 other people were hospitalized, including several attendees under 18, confirming what CNN just said. Houston Police Officer Chief Troy Finner said his department had 528 officers on the scene with another 755 security officers provided by event promoter Live Nation. Never heard of it. He said there were, quote, a lot of narratives floating around this idea that there could have been some drug usage. And they're looking into some of these allegations, trying to find the evidence of that, of this drug usage. He did say, however, that authorities had obtained a statement from a security guard suggesting the guard felt a prick in his neck, and medical staff concurred that a marking on his skin aligned with such an event. Quote, there were some individuals that were trampled, and we want to be respectful to that. We just ask that you all give us time to do a proper investigation, he added, noting Live Nation had been cooperative and will provide video from the event to authorities on Saturday evening. Quote, this is now a criminal investigation that's going to involve our homicide division as well as narcotics, he stated, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. 25 arrests, here you go, 25 arrests were made Friday, authorities said. 23 were for trespassing, 1 was for public intoxication, and of course 1 was for possession of marijuana. Mary Jane. Do you think anybody attending these concerts could get through one concert without having to get stoned? That's the level of intelligence you're dealing with, people. Narcan was administered, as CNN said a moment ago, to several individuals, including the security guard who felt a prick in his neck, though the exact number of those treated was unclear. Houston Fire Chief Samuel Pineda said that his team would be looking into the permits that were issued and ensuring that the plan that was submitted was adhered to during the event. There you go, folks. Probably too many people in this small space. Now, from what I understand, it says here, more than 200,000 people could have gathered in the area, but that outdoor venue limited attendance to 50,000 at the time of the festival. From what I understand, This complex, the Astrodome complex, can accommodate well over 200,000 people. But you get 50,000 people in this small space, this is what's going to happen. And of course, they all wanted to be part of the moment. They had to be there. That's why they were rushing the stage. Because it's hip-hop music, you see. Hip-hop. It's culture. I remember years ago, I was working somewhere, and some kid came up to get something at the counter, or buy something at the counter. And he was wearing a red shirt, and it said, hip-hop, the culture. I laughed my ass off when I saw that. I'm like, pal, you don't know culture. I'll show you centuries and centuries of culture. From all over the world. Not just European culture, but from all over the world. Quote, these injuries did not occur as people were trying to exit the venue, he stated, touting the doors remained open in accordance with a plan put in place for the event. What we're looking into is what caused the crowd surge, what led to the crowd surge, Pineda said. He added that inspectors were on site to oversee pyrotechnics, tents, and doors. When taking questions from reporters that gathered for the conference, Finner was pressed on the timeline he provided for the evening. He stated that at 9:30 p.m. they were alerted to people, quote, going down, and that the event was wrapped up by 10:10 p.m. When a reporter asked for the reason for the 40-minute delay, which he attributed to the size and age of the crowd, stating that they had to be careful not to incite a riot. When another journalist who claimed to be present at the concert claimed that his timeline was off, Finner allowed that he was incorrect and that he was only off by a minute or two. He also confirmed that a 10-year-old was currently in critical condition, though offered no additional details. So there you go, folks. A reflection of our culture. These people, they had to be there because it's hip-hop. They're changing society. They're revolutionaries. So I thought I'd share these two articles with you. And I just want to say that we can do better. If you're into hip-hop, create the best hip-hop song you can. And you don't have to go into the gutter to do it. You could say things back in the day in a certain way without having to offend people. People knew what you meant. You know, over the past couple of days, I've been listening to these pieces by Antonin Dvorak, his symphonic poems, which have some pretty grisly details. The stories that these symphonic poems are based on, I believe the author is named Urban, E-R-B-E-N. Not the nicest stories. It's like the fairy tales you hear. Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty, you name it. Some of these fairy tales were not the nicest fairy tales. Had especially different versions across the country, I think. Not country, but across the globe. I believe there's one story, a version of Cinderella in China, where one of the stepsisters tried cutting off part of her foot so it could fit into the glass slipper to marry the prince. Yeah, so some of the stuff wasn't the best. I'm trying to say this here. It wasn't what we see today. You know, this dressed up version of a fairy tale. A lot of it was pretty gruesome. So once again, if you enjoyed the video, please click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes, leave comments below. You can reach me at Twitter, Cultural Confederacy at Twitter. And this is the Cultural Confederacy saying peace out, stay safe, everybody. God bless this great country. I'll catch you next time. If I didn't say it, you can also reach me at #JasonComposes on Instagram. But you'll find me, if you go to social media, you'll find me, once again, Twitter, Instagram, here on YouTube. I do want to thank you for watching the videos, and thank you for letting me stumble through this tonight. I've done several takes with this video, and I said, okay, I'm going to do one last take with it, and that's going to be it, as I'm trying to adjust to reading from my computer screen here. So thank you for for bearing with me, trying to get it all out here before I end the video. And I will catch you next time. This is the Cultural Confederacy saying peace out. Y'all have a good night.